Who would be a Wolves fan, eh?
On goes ball. People might yet win it here for Wolves. Blasting the shot. What a goal!
Hello everyone, welcome to your latest Wolves Fancast match review. I'm your host, Little Dan. You'll be joining us tonight to reflect on Wolves' sixth consecutive win in the Premier League. This show is, as always, in association with the Sports Social Podcast Network, fcquiz.app, and the Boston Coffee and Vending Company. Before we get into the nitty and gritty of yesterday's huge win, which solidifies yet another Premier League season and pushes us towards the dizzy heights of 13th and 12th place in the league, which none of us foresaw before Christmas. We need to let you know that our charity match at Molineux on the 30th of May, 7 p.m. kickoff. The main match sponsor this year is USP Steels. We'll be coming up, the Wolves Fancast will be coming up against a team of other Wolves content creators from the likes of Talking Wolves, Always Wolves, the Wolfpack 77 Club, BBC WM presenter Mark Rhodes. The list goes on. We've got 16 players on both teams. All the funds that we're raising are for the Good Shepherd in Wolverhampton that do a lot of great work for people who are struggling, whether it's with food poverty, addiction, homelessness. They're a really good local community charity that we're proud to support this year, and anything that we raise on top of our costs will be going directly to the Good Shepherd. And you can find the link for where you can donate in the comment section on our YouTube, but it is gsmwolverhampton.enfuse, which is enthuse.com/pf/content creator classico 25. We're all really looking forward to it. None of us, well, I know Ishan's fit because he's always fit. That's why he's the engine room. He does all the running, I'll do all the scoring. That's the formula that got us the win last year, and hopefully we'll do it again this year. But yeah, try and come along. There will be limited tickets, which we'll make available across our social media channels in the next week or so. And this evening we have notified the two winners of our silent auction bid. Those two players will feature in the game on the 30th of May, and their bids this year have been outstanding, close to £1,000 between the two of them. So that's really good value, which we're, like I said again, really proud to put towards a Good Shepherd. But if you could help us get towards our £5,000 target, we'd really appreciate it. Gav, yesterday Wolves ran out 3-0 winners against Ruud Van Nistelrooy's failing Foxes. I didn't foresee how bad Leicester were going to be, but in years gone by, we've really struggled against those sort of teams, the likes of Huddersfield, Cardiff, Norwich, to ring up now. But without going into sort of too much detail, how happy were you with the performance overall yesterday?
Oh, I thought it was class. I think there was an expectation, winning 5 on the bounce. Leicester coming in off, being relegated last week. I think there was an expectation that we were going to not slap them silly, but, at least get the win. But to do in the way we did it, it was really good to see.
Ed, similar age to me, give or take a few years. Like Gav said there, it did have the sort of stereotypical nature that Wolves might struggle yesterday. I sort of got that pessimistic bones ingrained in me, is that, Leicester have just got relegated. They can barely score a goal. They're coming to Molineux. It's usually we steal from the rich and give to the poor, isn't it? But
yep.
Comfortable win yesterday, which 3-0 could have been a lot more on the day.
Yeah, I think if anything, I'm disappointed we only got the 3. And as you say, Dan, watching Wolves over the years, I don't think I've ever said that very often, but I think Leicester were, possibly the worst team I've seen at the Molineux this year. I think genuinely, and obviously there's an awful lot that goes into that. The fact that they were relegated last week, as Gav said, and they're on that ridiculous run of not scoring, not winning at home, but they were there for the taking, and it was an utterly professional job by a team that looks so different to just before Christmas.
I'll come to you first on this issue because Ed sort of touched on it, but in a different direction. At least he said that Leicester's like the worst team that's come to Molineux this year.
Yeah.
What team for you has come to Molineux this year and you've actually been impressed with? Because I'm in this sort of narrative along with a lot of other clubs at the moment that this is one of the worst Premier League seasons in a long time, and Liverpool, who have, I'll begrudgingly congratulate them on winning the title this year, but you look at Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, none of those teams have come to Molineux this season and really looked electric, and Arsenal in the Champions League semi-finals. No teams looked head and shoulders better than the league, have they? I mean, we've got slapped 6-2 at home to Chelsea. The scoreline was massively flattering on the day. We've got 3-0 at home to Forest. That game could have been 3-4, 3-1 on a different day. What team for you has come to Molineux and looked good this season?
I actually think you said it yourself. I don't think any team has come towards the season and played exceptionally well. I think even when we wasn't picking up points, we were still playing well. And I think like you touched on it, the Chelsea game, we lost 6-2, but the first half, in my opinion, we were the better team. So I think we've done well at home this season.
What's your thoughts on that, Gav?
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. I think, just going back on, the Champions League chasing teams like the Villas and the Newcastle, the Forest. The Newcastle game, they scored 2 screamers, didn't they? Won the game. Villa, obviously, we dispatched them pretty well. And then Forest, we had our chances against them. You know what I mean? They got the early goal through Gibbs White, and then it was all us. And then they got the sucker punch before at half time. So even those teams haven't really impressed. Fulham scored 2 early goals, one in the first half, one in the second half. Didn't do much after that. So it's a good question, to be honest. No one's actually came and really played us off the park, have they? Really, at Molineux, it's just been daft errors and tight margins, really, most of the time.
Yeah, considering how defensively poor we were in that before Christmas. You touched on Newcastle. We were the better team, probably the first error in that game, and then Newcastle scored 2 screamers. Going full circle, Ed, any thoughts on what I've just asked?
No. Obviously, the Forest. I remember being impressed with Forest, sort of the way they managed the game, and Fulham after, like Gav's just said. But no one's impressed me with the ball. No, probably not. But I think this has been it's been a rubbish season, hasn't it? And maybe Arsenal, if they hadn't lost their player, potentially they were playing some decent stuff before the kind of game descended into what it did with people getting sent off. But no, it's been a weird season, and I think we epitomise this season. I think with just how easy it is to go up and down this league by just having 3 or 4 results go your way. Because I think it's been a really strange season where no one's looked impressive, and Liverpool have looked the best out of what might be 20 pretty average teams.
Yeah. The 2 fixtures against Liverpool, for me, they haven't stood out like an elite Premier League winner. I really don't want to just keep pouring petrol on the fire, because there'll be Liverpool fans who just shake their head and I'll just say it's just bitterness as always. But just no one's really excelled. No one's really pushed Liverpool at all in any form of a title race this year. I thought Forest were going to be the ones that pushed them the most, and even they've had a bit of a massive fall off recently. They got beat 2-0 by Man City in the end.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Comfortable as well.
I watched the first half. That's first error actually. Obviously, Anthony Elanga missed a big chance straight after half time, but I think Nuno will be kicking himself yet again with another semi-final formation sort of collapse, which is probably at his hands. He would have had an excuse if the players that they had injured, but Man City looked relatively comfortable throughout the game. I did quite enjoy Morgan Gibbs-White's miss when he rounded the goalkeeper. I thought he was hard to miss. Just going a bit further forward into Wolves' game yesterday, the chance that Strand Larsen missed, Ed, in the second half in front of the safe bank, harder to miss than score that moment. But his reaction when he got the goal said it all, didn't it?
Yeah, no, I think he's loving every minute in the at the minute in the old gold, isn't he? And yeah, leaning back, left foot. There's no excuse still. He should be putting that in. But even in the first half, when he chased down their keeper that wasn't very good, but also was being put into some awful pressure by Wout Face in particular, who kept passing it back to him. When he kind of blocked it and he almost got it in with his arse, he was willing it in to the North Bank. He was trying to push it in with his hands. I think he's loving life at the minute, and I think it's where he is at the minute as a player, but also just the form he's in, that I think he knew he'd get another chance and he had to put it away.
And yes, he did. He's got another goal on his tally. He's not far behind Jimenez's debut season tally now. And I'll probably speak for Gav on this behalf. I hope he ends up finishing top goal scorer this season. When the teams came out at 2:15 yesterday, there was a bit of an air of whether Cunha would start. He did get the nod in front of Jean-Luc Bellegarde, who came back from fitness. But Paul 2011 says, Gav, do you still think Cunha should have played yesterday?
No, I don't think he should have played. Even though he played well. And we'll get into that.
Mathematically safe, what was the benefit in playing Cunha yesterday when he's 99% certain going to be leaving in the summer?
Yeah, it's especially after the back of this week with all the, the rumours and everything that's gone on about him wanting to go. And then, it came out last night that he's been liking fan edits of Manchester United fans of him in United kits and stuff. And then even when he scored and he's tapping the badge and everything, it makes me want to throw up, to be honest. I hate it. Honestly, watching Wolves win yesterday and knowing that he was the centre of it all, I couldn't stand it, to be honest with you, generally.
Adrian, you haven't been on the show for a while. What's your sort of feelings towards Cunha and the way he's behaved on and off the pitch recently? Because his behaviour on the pitch, you can't turn a blind eye to it. He was outstanding yesterday. The goals and assists that he got is the reason why he's head and shoulders better than anything we've got in a Wolves shirt, and why he'll end up leaving the summer. But your thoughts on Cunha?
I think he's a cracking player on the pitch, and I think he's one of the best players in the world at the minute, in my opinion. The problem is I don't understand his messaging, because 1 minute he's going to the press saying that he wants to leave. The next minute he's putting out something on Instagram saying that he loves the club and wants to stay. So I don't understand what he's trying to do, what he's trying to achieve. But I think we all know he's going to be sold in the summer, whether he wants to or not. Howson will sell him for the price and just get new players in. But I think the good thing is, in my opinion, I think if he does go, we're not going to miss him too much. We've got other players. We've got a bigger squad now. I think we'll be okay.
I think there's a naivety within the YouTube comment section and a lot of the elder Wolves who were situated around me in the Molyneux yesterday, is that they can't understand why Matheus Cunha is leaving. Sort of the mindset. Why can't Fancast show him the ambition to stay? Why would he want to leave Wolves for Man United when there's a chance we'll finish above Man United? There's no loyalty left in football nowadays, guys, and Man United, begrudgingly, that they're still a huge club within the football hemisphere. If they win the Europa League, they're in the Champions League next year, which is the only thing I could sort of accept Cunha leaving us for. But if Man United didn't win the Europa League, I would be disappointed in leaving for Man United, because for me, he should be playing at a European level. If he's going just to sidestep to Man United in the Premier League, they can sell him a project all they like, but he needs to be playing European football. If he can stay with us next year and we can keep the core of this squad, there's no reason why we can't push for Europe with a couple of decent additions. You don't have to spend 20, 30, 40 million pound on players. It can be done with shrewd recruitment, and that's why it's down to Fancast this summer to do the right thing. Going back to the same sort of situation where I was a bit sort of reluctant to keep persevering with Nelson Semedo yesterday. I think it's the same sort of situation. If Nelson Semedo isn't willing to sign a new contract, Ed, maybe we need to start giving Pedro Lima a chance or Rodrigo Gomez a chance at right wing back to start putting in some foundations for next season. But another good performance for Semedo yesterday. We've put out on our Twitter today that we're imploring him to sign a new contract. No sort of imminent news on on where his mindset is at the moment, whether he's going to renew or he's going to leave. But would you have started Semedo and Cunha yesterday?
I think personally probably no, but that's because in my head I'm playing Football Manager and it doesn't matter. I guess for Vitor, what he's thinking is that we're on this incredible run at the minute, and we need to keep continuity. We need to keep making sure we secure as many points as possible, get higher up that table, and that's the project that we can sell next year or during the summer to whoever it is that we do get in to bring in Cunha. I think I think my pettiness, I didn't get up when Cunha scored. I celebrated in my seat. You know, my lad Jacob jumped all over me. I was happy. We'd scored. It was right in front of us. And I'm happy we scored. I'm happy with how he played. But the way he's conducted himself, he has no class. The difference we have with Nelson, of course, is he hasn't, sold himself to Benfica or wherever he wants to go. If he wants to go, quote unquote, home, there's ways that you conduct yourself, right? I think we know for a fact that Andre, João Gomez in the next 2-3 seasons, hopefully, will go on to bigger and better things that aren't Man United. But we need to continue now. If we can, out of nowhere, finish 12th or 13th this season, then that is something we can build on, and we can use with the 30 million quid that we're probably going to get at the 60 from the Cunha sale on the next player, and we can say, look at what we did here, look at the position you can come in with, and this is what we've got going on. I think Nelson Semedo stays at right back. Pedro Lima probably should be getting some minutes off the bench now. I don't think, was he on the bench yesterday?
No,
I don't remember him warming up.
No.
So I'm maybe that's another reason why maybe he's not fully fit. I don't know, but I think right now we just need to get through to the end of the season and have a rebuild, a proper rebuild. We get rid of Cunha as quickly as possible and get our ducks in a row. There's no football this summer internationally, so let's get everything where we need to be. Let's just get to the end of the season now, and if we finish 12th, then let's get going.
Yeah, can't disagree. Let's quickly get into the first goal of the day yesterday. I've done a little bit of jiggery pokery with the video here, trying to get around the YouTube copyright situation. So, as you can see on the screen, there's free video. First top left corner, nice bit of intricate play between right out Nori and Cunha, and a nutmegs on Coady on the 6-yard box, which was a good bit of play which set us on the way. Like Gal said, he was a bit begrudgingly accepting to see Cunha get the goal. I had Cunha as captain in my fancy draft team, so I played the football gods against each other yesterday. It was a good start. Your thoughts on the goal, Gav, and the build-up play between Aït-Nouri and Cunha?
Oh, it's a class goal. And as much as I dislike Cunha, I think that we will miss that link up between Aït-Nouri and Cunha, to be fair. But I think the thing is with Aït-Nouri, I think he can play like that with anyone. He needs someone on the same wavelengths as himself, doesn't he? Really. So it's not really ultimately all on Cunha. He needs someone that knows how he's going to play. But it's a great ball into the box, and it's a good finish by Cunha as well. Coming at that sort of speed, he's put it in the only place he could put it, in the right corner. And just on the fantasy, I had Aït-Nouri in my starting 11, so that's a clean sheet and assist. So I was happy with that. I was never going to play Cunha. I was half tempted to put him in, but I was like, no, I'll keep Strand Larsen in, and that paid off as well.
I'm sorry to keep throwing you under the bus because you've been called out quite a lot in the comment section, Gav. But why do you dislike Cunha? I'm actually baffled, Gav, because that's from Paul. I don't think it's what's the word? It's an unwarranted. You've not gone out your way to dislike it. It's more a level of disappointment, isn't it? Then
100%. It's essentially the other player I'll give you an example of is João Gomez. Cunha could be a Champions League player. João Gomez could be a Champions League player. João Gomez is grateful for playing for Wolves and what Wolves have done. Put him on the platform, given him the limelight in the Premier League. Same as Cunha. We've done the exact same thing with Cunha. Gomez has agreed to sign a new deal. And, there's no doubt he's probably said to the club, look, I want to be, going playing Champions League football at some point. And, Matt Hobbs is not going to keep him there locked up in a cell and keep him there for the rest of his career playing for Wolves, is he? You know what I mean? And Cunha's come out saying, I'm grateful for playing for Wolves, grateful for playing for Wolves. But when it came to the conversation about his contract, everyone saw the Chelsea game, the Arsenal game. He threw his toys at the pram. He wasn't running. He was barely coming over to clap the fans as well. I know there was that big hoo-ha with Liam Keane. He half-arsed coming over for the Chelsea game. Half-arsed coming over for the Arsenal game. The Villa game, he signs a contract, and all of a sudden he's playing well again. And he's put that contract in. He said he's happy to, he's grateful for playing for Wolves. But why has he put a release clause in? Why couldn't he have just signed the contract and said, look, I want to go in the summer, get what you need to get for me, get as much money as you can, but just make sure I get a move. But he's put the club into a corner to say, look, I'm not happy. If you want me to keep you up, you got to make me happy. To make me happy, I need to sign this contract. João Gomez, he signed it, no problems. Look, get what money you want for me. I've got a 5-year deal. He knows that we're going to get good money for him now. And that's the difference. That's the difference. One person's actually grateful for what Wolves have done, and the other one has just thought about himself.
I think it's the fact that early in the January window, Cunha was imminent to be signing a new contract.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that was delaying that new contract was the release clause, which he apparently, whether it's him, his agent, had haggled Wolves down from what Wolves wanted to put the fee in at. And that's when then he saw his mannerisms, his body language in a few games in January. There were moments, I can't think what home game it was in January. Jose Sarr had the ball trying to launch a counter-attack, and Cunha had his back to play because he didn't want to take control of the ball. He didn't want to beat
the Arsenal game. Semedo was going down the wing, and Cunha was still walking from the halfway line. That was against Arsenal. The week after the whole Chelsea debacle, and he was obviously being linked with Arsenal at the time as well. But like you said, he's haggled the club for. If you were so grateful to the club and bringing him here, taking him out of a shit show, what he was at Atletico, where the fans hated him, he wasn't getting minutes. Just remember, we overpaid for him as well. In the first 6-7 months, and under Lopetegui, he was shit. The first part of Gary O'Neill's tenure, until he scored at Bournemouth away, he was shit then. So he's had from Bournemouth away when we won 1-0, or when Coady scored the winner, up until now. What's that? 18 months of good football. And he's threw his toys at the pram, and he's saying he's grateful for the club, and yet he's haggling down on how much we want to get back for him, even though no other club was going to pay 40-50 million like we did for him. No one. In fact, we were stupid at the time to pay that. Really, we should have lowballed Atletico Madrid. We've took him out of a shit situation. He says he's grateful, but then he's put the club into the corner. He's earned more money as well over the last 6 months. He's a prick. That's what I'm saying.
Let's be clear. He did score some important goals. I think that the Southampton home game was a big game.
Yeah. Fulham away.
Yeah,
definitely.
But Paul, I just want to show you a quick thing on the screen, because you keep saying that Cunha said stuff. In Premier League games over the last 2 seasons, Wolves have averaged 1.7 points per game when Matheus Cunha does not play, compared to 1.1 points per game when he does play. He's an outstanding player, but you look at the recent games when he was suspended, having been stupidly sent off at Bournemouth, which was another case of him jeopardising the club's security in the Premier League, whilst basically ruining any chance we ever had of winning that game away to Bournemouth in the FA Cup. His worldie of a goal kept us in the game and got us to extra time. Yeah. But all he had to do was turn his back to playing and act like an idiot, like he was doing in the start of January that day, instead of getting sent off at Bournemouth. And for a lad that is he 25, 26 now? I can't excuse his behaviour in the recent months, and I'd rather have 11 João Gomez's than one Matheus Cunha who might score you a world and win you a game once every 3 or 4 games, but it's all about building a team now, and that points per game that I just mentioned on the screen, 1.7 points we earn when Matheus Cunha doesn't play. I want players that are willing to run for the badge and run for the club, and the incentive is winning things as part of this club, not earning a higher wage, holding a club to ransom for a release clause, which similar to Ruben Neves, we all accepted that Ruben had to leave in the end because footballers' careers are short. João Gomez has just earned himself a new 5-year contract, bigger wage, no release clause is the rumoured stipulation within his contract. There's ways and manners of leaving a club. We all accepted at the end of the season that Matheus was going to leave, but the way that he handled himself in the January transfer window, and I'll be sad to see him go because he's a seat tapper, isn't he? When he gets the ball, all you hear is seats tapping because people get off the seats because they know something's going to happen. But it's shown in the last month that we don't need him. We've got a good unit of players that are fighting. You can see the vibes around the club at the moment. Vitor's done an outstanding job since he came in with 5 points behind Leicester when he took over. I think he's 23 or 26 in front of them now. Ridiculous what he's done. And I'm excited for the summer. But we're now in the same cycle yet again. I mentioned the other day, Bruno Lage had it, Gary O'Neill had it. They both had good first seasons.
Yeah.
They need to be backed by Fosun this summer, or the cycle continues where he'll end up getting frustrated. He doesn't get his players in, doesn't get to bring the players in to play a style of football that he wants to play. But if we can keep this core of players here and add 2 or 3, there's no reason why we can't finish top half next season.
Yeah,
All you need is a couple of players who hit form in the right time, like Strand Larsen's done in 2025, and who knows where you can finish. What are you going to say, the nation?
Yeah, I agree completely with what you've just said. But I think with Cunha, I think a lot of people are misinterpreting what we're saying. We're not saying he's been rubbish on the pitch. He's been absolutely
no.
But it's the way
he's our best player.
Yeah, it's the way he's been handling himself off the pitch. It is very mixed messages, and like you said, 62.5 million for a player like Cunha nowadays is nothing. Man United and Chelsea and Arsenal will just throw that at us. We need a lot more money from him, so I don't think he should have put the release clause in. No. And I don't think he should be throwing his toys out of the pram. He should be grateful because if it wasn't for us, he'd be stuck at Atletico Madrid.
Exactly, bang on. Yeah.
So I think, but that's the thing, like you said, Dan. As Wolves, we accept we're going to get good players. We're going to have to sell them because we're never going to win a Champions League. Probably not going to win a Premier League, obviously. I don't mind players leaving. It's just the way they leave. And the way Neves left, no problem. The way Joss left, no problem. But the way Cunha's leaving, that's what I don't like about it.
Gav, if you end up going to Saudi for 70 million, what are you saying then?
Thank you very much, Matheus Cunha.
Well done. He always put the club up to his heart. Never doubted the bloke.
Delete all the clips, yeah.
Let's get back to the match because the second goal, he was keen again. We already mentioned the Strand Larsen miss, which he managed to balloon over the bar from the 6-yard box. When I said earlier, I thought it was hard to miss, but Matheus Cunha picks up the ball in the left wing position and that finds an absolute lethal through ball for Larsen on a plate, and he rifles it beyond Hermanson, the Leicester goalkeeper. You can see in the top right corner of the 3 goals there. Really good worked goal from start to finish. Another excellent finish from Strand Larsen. But your thoughts on the second goal, Ed?
Yeah, that's exactly why we want Matheus Cunha to shut up off the pitch and just do it on the pitch, isn't it? Because that is wonderful. It's brilliant. He couldn't have made that any easier for Strand Larsen. It's a great first touch. He's out of his feet and it's in. It's the goal of a striker also in form. Maybe 3 or 4 months ago, he'd have been taking a touch, thinking about it. But right now, with the run he's on, 4 in 5 or whatever he's got, he's 1 away from him, and as he's 13, he takes it out of his feet and hits it in. What he's managed to do is forget the blatant miss that you talked about earlier as well. It's a great goal, and then we have almost a carbon copy, don't we, for the third with the pass from Cunha again, and that is why we just wish he wasn't such a bell end off the pitch, isn't it? Because that is game changing, and not just against Leicester, against any team in this league wouldn't be able to cope with that ability to drive and to find your strike partner in 14, 15 yards out of goal with 1 touch in it. It's a wonderful goal. It's a goal of a team on form. It's a goal of a team with a plan and the ability to put it away.
It is. Gary O'Neill will be literally tearing out his hair, seeing the way that we're playing at the moment, after the way that he threw a lot of the team under the bus after that Ipswich game, saying he took him as far as he can. And I think he was away at Everton. He said he he can't teach this group how to handle, manage games, whatever he said.
This is as good as they can be. Was that effect, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And you can see why he's second favourites in the odds checker odds to take over the West Brom job. Can't see it myself. I think Ryan Mason's the favourite for the West Brom job at the moment. They've been in talks with the QPR manager today.
Yeah.
My, how far they've fallen from their pigeon perch they live upon. When Jamie Vardy announced earlier on this week that he was leaving Leicester this summer, I did see a few wild takes on social media that said they'd take Jamie Vardy in the summer. What was your thoughts on the former England man's performance yesterday, and in particular his penalty?
Yeah. That was the highlight of the game for me, him missing, because we know what he did last time. So I was very, very, very pleased when I saw that. But yeah, no, he's done good for Leicester. No one can deny that. He's been very loyal to them and done a very good job for them. Like same with Cunha, he could have gone to Arsenal a number of years ago, but he wasn't disrespectful. He was loyal to the club. So
yeah. I had Jose Sarr in my fantasy team instead of Ryan Aït-Nouri. So when he saved that penalty, I did put the tweet out saying that Jose Sarr had saved a penalty yesterday, and FPL owners rejoiced at the clean sheet for Wolves. I did also enjoy that Boy's kick, which he span it out for a throw-in, trying to clear the ball yesterday. So you can see the picture there on the left. He's looks like he's straining midair, but this wasn't a great day for him all around. I knew Leicester was bad, Gav, but I didn't realise how poor they were. Obviously, we went to the Leicester away game, didn't we, before Christmas, and they've even got worse from that day.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think going forward, I can't remember besides the penalty, they didn't have did they have a shot on goal? I can't remember a big chance that they would have had.
He had one in the first half, didn't he? Curled it on the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was it. You know what I mean? Going for, but then again, it's one of those they're dead and buried. I think the morale's down, isn't it? Really, even though I did think, to be fair, with them being relegated, they might have come here with a bit more like shackles off sort of approach. But even if the shackles are off, they're still shit, aren't they? So it's just one of those, isn't it? Really, I think Vardy didn't really get into the game. I'm so glad he missed that penalty as well. Oh my god! After all the antics that he does when he scores against us, the howling and everything, it was nice to see that he missed that one. But just going on Vardy, to be fair, I think I was talking to someone the other day. He's probably the only club legend that's really going, isn't he? Really, like if you think about like an actual proper club legend for a club, he's like their Steve Bull, isn't he? More or less. And you don't see many of those anymore now. So fair play.
Fleetwood to was it the quarterfinals of the Champions League? They got the 1 year.
Yeah.
It's like, it is a proper like Roy the Rover story. 13 years he's been at Leicester. You can't knock the career that he's had, and he was unplayable at times. He was unlucky not to get more England appearances, but that's the Harry Kane of England. That's stopped quite a number of strikers getting more appearances. But yeah, I was glad to see that he missed that penalty yesterday. He has been a player that's been a bit of a thorn in our side in few recent years ago. I remember we scored that one goal, did the hell. That was frustrating. I think he scored when we got beat 4-0 at home last time we played Leicester in the Premier League. Was it under Steve Davis or Bruno Lage? I can't forget.
It was Steve Davis, yeah.
Yeah, I just remember it's being like... That's why I really wanted to put it to Leicester yesterday and really put the sword to him, because I remember that 4-0 at home to Leicester that day under Steve Davis, it was so toxic, and it did like have a trajectory that did look really, really bad for us as a club, similar to the Ipswich game this season. But Jose Sarr got me that penalty save and kept that Wolves clean sheet for all the FPL owners out there. The third goal came from Rodrigo Gomez in the North Bank quadrant area, launching a throw towards the halfway line. The ball lands to Marshall Manetzi, who finds Pablo Sarabia, who we mentioned this last week, didn't he? He's the David Copperfield, David Blaine magician that can find these little passes that no one else can see. Matheus Cunha is coming up against Coady, and I really wanted Matheus Cunha to rinse Coady, but like a bolt of lightning, Rodrigo Gomez comes out of nowhere and Cunha puts on a plate for him, and what was it, way similar to Strand Larsen?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a cracking goal. I think we've got some really good young players, and but this is the problem with focusing on Wood over the next few years about the recruitment. And a lot of people are saying, yeah, we'll get 70 million for him and we'll get a couple of decent players. But I've heard that before. So I just hope that this summer we sell Cunha, because we all know it's going to happen. We'll help to bring in a few good players. Because that's the thing about Gary O'Neill. I was at the start more on his side, because he tried to change formation, which I don't think he should have done. But the board didn't back him. But then towards the end, I think he just shot himself in the foot that much he had to go. Yeah,
Gary will have been really angry that he didn't get Agbadu in the summer, but that's the luck of the draw, isn't it? I was really happy for Rodrigo to get his second Premier League goal yesterday, the first coming away at Leicester before Christmas. And because we love him so much, we thought we'd do him a solid by promoting his partner Clara's swim line, which you can find at Clarity by CMG on Instagram. And Steps Motion on Instagram did create that Rodrigo Gomez video animation you can see on the left there. Another bright light in the future of Wolves. Rodrigo Gomez can play in a lot of positions. Concerning for me at the moment is whether we can keep rolling out Nori for another summer. But if the right bid comes in, Gav, I wouldn't be too nervous about Rodrigo being that left wing back for us in next season.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it, really? Because we've got Bueno coming back in as well. And obviously there's reports that Wolves want to integrate him back in the squad. He's not going to come here to be a second choice left back, is he, realistically? So he's going to be want to play, first team football. And then you got a toss-up, haven't you, really? Because you got for PSR purposes, you might be better off selling Bueno, because that's 25 million straight on the books. But then obviously without Nori, you've got the potential to sell up. I reckon you would get 50 million from him this year. Isn't he's got the most goals and assists of any defender this year? I think that headline alone is going to get him. That's an extra 10 million there, isn't it? On top of what if he had a bad season. So
he and Anthony Robinson joint on something like 10 or 11 goal involvements.
I think he's on 11. He's got 4 goals and 7 assists or something like that now. You get 50 million for him, and you put Bueno straight in. These are the sort of things you've got to Wolves of the club have to try and be savvy with, haven't they? You've got someone that's ready made. I mean, to be fair, if you sell Bueno, you sell Nori, you're not in a bad position either way, are you? To be fair, with Rodrigo Gomez being in the waiting in the wings as well, I think you sell Cunha and you sell one of those people that you've mentioned. You've got nearly £100 million kitty there, haven't you? Plus the silver sale, plus whatever you get for Gibbs White if he ends up going in the summer, Guedes money. The wages that you save off Sarabia and Guedes, Semedo, Cunha, they've got the potential to really transform this team in the summer. It's just a case of will they get it right? We sold Neto for 60 mil and we bought Forbes in on loan. And you know what I mean? So, and that was the big miss at the end of the day. So we need more hits and misses in the summer. And if you get it right, to be honest, that Conference League place isn't too far away, I'll be honest.
No.
I mean, you've brought it up there, Gav. I was saving it for one of the latter parts of the stages.
Oh, sorry, mate.
It's shown how comfortable the victory was yesterday. Like Carlos Ford got minutes.
Competition winner came on.
Yeah.
I was pleased to see Carlos come on. He came on at the left wing back position, which was a bit odd, but good for him. I did want to see. Was Matheus Mane on the bench yesterday?
No, it wasn't. No.
I thought. Bellegarde came on, didn't he? Guedes came on. Sarabia came on.
6 subs yesterday, wasn't there?
Yeah, was it because Leicester had a concussion?
Yeah, Buonanotte from the first half, he had a bang on the head, didn't he? So he went off at half-time concussion. So extra sub.
You learn something new every day. I didn't know the opposition team got to make it an extra sub if there was a concussion for the other side, but. Yeah, one player who was yet again outstanding was João Gomez, and he tweeted after the game. tweeted after the game saying, "I feel at home at this place." I can't think what he ended it with because I can't play the video about more percent coming on, but he's getting to sort of elite levels of adoration, isn't he now, Ed, in regards to just how much every Wolves fan loves him, loves what he does in a Wolves shirt. I mentioned last week that his ball carrying recently has really started to improve, adding another dimension to his game. If he can start picking up a couple of goals here and there, he's heading towards Neves levels of adoration for me.
Yeah, he's my favourite player at the minute, hands down, easily. I think he's incredible. He came with the reputation of the pit bull. He would tear around and get the ball off people, and it kind of came with the connotations that we thought then he'd pass it to a better footballer, and now he is the better footballer. So he now does something with the ball when he's got it, and that's it's invaluable in this league. I think both him and Andre. I genuinely on the journey back yesterday, I was trying to think of a better two central midfielder that I would pick. I don't know much about European football because we're not in it. I'm not interested, and I don't know the same as I don't know anything about Championship football. But in the Premier League, there aren't. I couldn't think of a midfield pairing that I would pick over those two. And I might be missing someone glaringly obvious. I know Liverpool have got some good midfielders, but I think they're incredible. But his ball carrying now, like you said, Dan, it's of such an elite level, and his ability to get out of tight spaces is, it's a Champions League level footballer that we have at the minute with our number 8.
That's why he's earned himself a new contract, hasn't he? With bump a new wage, and I expect him and Andre to be in many a Brazil squad for the coming years now, because they're both probably in their best form in a Wolves shirt at the moment, and long may it continue. Another couple of players there, along with Matheus Cunha, that we're going to struggle to keep hold of this summer. But if we can try and keep that spine and add a couple of more exciting players in one-on-one situation, which apparently Vitor's profiling this summer. Like I said, there's no stopping us next season. There's a really good vibe around the club again at the moment. You can see within the players and the changing room, they're all fighting for the cause. The fans are all back on sides. There's, song after song in the stadium. I think the atmosphere is getting a lot better at Wolves because there's a lot more people who are looking forward to going to the games there instead of feeling like it was a chore under Gary O'Neill. We did tweet last night that the moon underwater was literally full to capacity with Wolves fans awaiting Vitor Pereira's arrival. I'm not surprised he didn't go to the moon last night, because if you see some of the videos that he's been going into recently, his eardrums are going to be close to exploding with the amount of people literally just in his face, just chanting, "Oh, Vitor Pereira," for at least like half an hour non-stop. He doesn't even get a chance to go to the bar, just people literally in his face chanting, "Oh, Vitor Pereira." We were putting out teasing things saying that we saw him in the Billy Roy, we'd seen him queuing for Atlantis, all the old spots last night, but he did end up turning up at the Crown in Coady, and you can see the video on screen now. Singing Vitor Pereira is one of our own, being drunken hoodlums in a Cotswold pub. I mean, he's literally one of our own. But he's seriously building momentum, isn't he, Gav? Winning will always bring positivity, but allowing himself to be around Wolves fans in such close proximity, there's something building, isn't there?
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? It's that connection. I think Wolves are one of very few clubs where if the manager gets it right, you get treated like a god. Not many clubs are like that. You got Liverpool with Klopp. I think Wolves is just one of those clubs where the manager is like the be-all and end-all, isn't it? He's put on a pedestal when it goes right. Nuno was the same, Nuno, he'd be going for mixed grills and everything. He was pretty similar, but even I think Pereira's probably had more appearances in the past 2 weeks than Nuno and everyone ever did. And it's good to see. It's the rapport. And I think I said it the other week. He's not harming himself doing it, is it? Okay, it might be a little bit annoying at the time because he don't look pissed, does he, when he's in there himself? But everyone else is. But he's buying himself time, isn't he? When there's a spell now where he's a bit under pressure, we're not doing well, the fans are still going to love him for doing all of this. They're going to give him those extra games. You know what I mean? So that's probably not in the back of his mind. I think he is genuinely going out for the experience, isn't he? At the end of the day, you know what I mean? Because he's not going to get an opportunity like this where we're playing well, we're winning games, everyone loves him. You've got to take advantage of it. At this point. But in the long run, he's doing himself no harm doing it, really.
Definitely. I mean, it helps for him that his missus is at home in Portugal, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
He doesn't need that, what's it called, that pass to leave the house for a few hours to go down the pub with the lads. He's basically it's just entertainment purpose. He's taking out clients, isn't he? He's meeting clients out in Wolverhampton, schmoozing, and he's earned it. And like Dad said, it's not difficult. It might be political, but he's literally buying himself credit in the bank by doing these appearances. I'm not sure what the club think to him going into like Wetherspoons and all these like other pubs, but how impressive have you been, Asian, with Vitor since he's come in and the way that he's carrying himself outside of Molineux?
Yeah, I've been very impressed. But to be honest with you, I think any manager coming in, it wouldn't have been rocket science to turn that season around because all they needed to do was we got the new players in, back five. Everyone, that's the way Wolves play, back five, fast players. But yeah, he's done really well. I've seen him going to the pubs and that, and he's building that relationship with the fans. And Gav said it exactly. When we get to sticky points and and tough times, the fans will give him extra time, and when the players need it, they're going to chant louder and stuff like this. So I think he's doing a stunning job. I'm really impressed by him.
Definitely. Wolves did make it 6 wins in a row. Huge one. If we can make it 7 wins in a row, I'm literally putting money on us to win the league next season if we beat Man City next Friday night. Because I think we had that. We've got similar momentum to what Leicester did when Ranieri took over. And all it needs is all we need to do is just get like a prime Mahrez and Kante from France, and we are cooking next season. But I'll come to you first. Ed. Obviously, Wolves went out 3-0 winners yesterday. Who was your man of the match for Wolves?
Honourable mention always for Agbadou. He managed to injure Bobby Decordova by just looking at him, and he had to go off the pitch. I think for me, as much as I said I didn't celebrate when he scored, it is Cunha. He was the match winner yesterday. I think I can't remember the guy's name in the chat, but it's not to say that he's not a good footballer. He's just not. He doesn't seem to be. He's not acting how I would hope a Wolves player would act off the pitch. But for me, he was hands down man of the match yesterday. He was taking up positions where Leicester, I think even an informed Leicester wouldn't have known what to do with him. He was unplayable at times. And when he drives with the ball, there aren't many better in world football. And he was exceptional yesterday. Agbadou, João Gomes, you can talk Andre, they all were brilliant. But I think Cunha was the match winner yesterday. He won us that game yesterday.
The one skill that doesn't go necessarily missed a lot, but the knack that he has to do that extra nick of the ball before the challenge comes in and then go again with like the thrusters of acceleration is something that many ball carriers haven't got, and he's an exceptional player. 1 goal, 2 assists, Ishan for Cunha yesterday. Was your man of the match as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like people can say what they want about him off the pitch. I'll be one of the first to say it to him. But yeah, he's a cracking player, and I said it earlier. I think he's one of the best players in the world at the minute. It's just a shame that he's going to go to Man United and ruin his career.
Could be as simple as that. Hopefully, I don't want to ever, see any Wolves player do bad after they leave us, but we've talked about it before. The manner in which you leave Wolves is the way that sort of instigates how fans will treat you, won't they? Jota still gets appreciation when he comes back to Molineux. Neves will still get the red carpet every time he comes back. Gav will be frustrated like everyone else with the way he's handled himself, but Gabby was exceptional yesterday, wasn't he?
Yeah. There's nothing more you can say. Can you? He won the game at the end of the day. He took his goal well. Good finish. The 2 passes that he made, especially for the Strand Larson one. It was pitch perfect, wasn't it? You know what I mean? He hasn't overhit it. He hasn't underhit it. He's put the right amount of weight on that for Strand Larson to get it. It was a class ball, and you can see, you can understand why United want him and all these teams want him, and why he's so sought after. So, no, there's not much more I can say, to be honest.
Yeah, Maximus Rice has gone for his usual Jose Sarr as man of the match. Thanks for everyone that's joined in the comment section and live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you watch us. Just trying to think, is there anything else we need to discuss before we do? There is one thing. Kind of Coady's reception yesterday, Ed. During, I think it was 2-0 up, Wolves fans started singing his LA song. He didn't acknowledge. 2 minutes afterwards, every time he touched the ball, he got booed. What's your thoughts on a possible return for Conor Coady, Ed? Because I was having this conversation with a few people around me, and I did get a few raised eyebrows and "are you stupid" looks when I said I'd take him back. Purely.
No.
Let me hear me out. Hear me out, Ed, please. There's no difference with Conor Coady and Tom King if we can get Conor Coady to return on a deflated wage. Because for me, he can still do a job. He knows how to play in a back three.
Yeah.
He'll fill the homegrown quota. If we could come to some sort of financial package for Conor Coady, it's a no-brainer for me.
Oh yeah, I think you thought I was going to disagree with you, but I'm not.
Oh,
All in on it. Yeah, and literal goosebumps yesterday when that song was getting belted out, because that it was heartfelt, wasn't it? And that's the thing. He didn't really get his real goodbye, did he? We kind of pushed him out the door, and that rankles because again. Not that he had many suitors, of course, because I think everyone knows that he was, quote unquote, limited as a footballer in terms of he was very good in his role, and that's it for a lot of people. But I think we saw with his England cameos, and let's not forget he scored a goal for England whilst being a Wolves player. I think might have been Maximus right in the comments, called someone a glue guy earlier, and that's exactly what those types of people are. They keep standards, don't they? They keep training. He wouldn't be remiss, and he wouldn't think twice about someone like Cunha or insert any other player here getting a bit too big for the boots in training. Conor Coady will either sort that or have a quiet word afterwards, because he's a leader of men. And you even saw that yesterday with Leicester. He was still the only one talking in their back four. He was still the only one that had any semblance of trying to remain calm, even in that mess of a team. And we don't know much about is it Jigger, the guy on the bench, the centre back. He could take his place while he gets more minutes or goes out on loan because he's the prospect. And we could get another season, 2 seasons, and eke it out like we have with Doc. And that, why not? He's homegrown. He's English. He counts against all of those things. As long as he comes back on a relatively affordable wage, his number 16 shirt's still available. Just give it him back and let him finish his career here.
Yeah. I think the question you need to ask really is, out of the centre-backs that we got, which is Totti, Bueno, Doc for now, Mosquera, Giga, which one of those would you want to play in the middle of a back three? You know what I mean? At least if you got Coady and you got someone that will play in that middle of the back three straight away.
Yeah.
So out of the ones that I mentioned, because out of the ones that I just mentioned, Totti, Doc, Mosquera, Giga, Bueno. Bueno might be the only one that could probably play in that middle of the back three.
Yeah.
The other one's not really obvious. I wouldn't say Totti could, Doc, Mosquera. I don't know what his ball distribution's like. At least if Coady comes in and something was to happen to Agbadou for any reason, you know that Coady would fit in straight away and is more compatible compared to the other centre backs that we've got.
And you can rely upon him to be in the Carabao Cup team when Agbadou, we don't need Agbadou.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the comments from my lovely father in retaliation to me saying I wanted Conor Coady back was, well, what about what his sister said about the club and stuff? I was like, Yeah, but that's his sister. But he can't when his sister comes out. Well, why do they come out and say like I don't agree with what she says and all this? Let me just put it simple for those who have any sort of concerns. I'll come to you, Isha. What's your thoughts on Conor Coady returning this summer?
Well, what I would say as paper is that we've had Doherty back and he hasn't been too bad for us, has it? And every time we buy a player, we're not buying players to be superstars and world beaters. We need to buy players who can slot on the bench here, be on the reserves, play in the Carabao Cup. And the good thing about Coady, one, I think he would start for us still in the back five. I think he would be amazing for us still. And two, when he went to England, they all say about him the impact he had in the dressing room. And we've got a lot of young players. A lot of players like Cunha who probably need a tackle or two in training. He can come in and he can still do the job. He's still a good player. We'll probably pick him up for about 3-4 million, 5 million. Why not get him?
Less than that, probably.
Yeah, because he's on a big wage. Leicester want him off the wage books, and Matt Bradley's beat me to it. And this is basically the reason why we need to get Conor Coady back. Is that we need to replace Craig Dawson this summer.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a like for like. I can't imagine there's going to be much wage difference between the pair. There might be a nominal fee Wolves have to pay to get him out of Leicester, but I think
homegrown as well.
As I said, it's got all the formulas for playing the back three. I think you can rely upon him to play in the Carabao Cup games if we needed him to. Similar to Agba do a good course in the dressing room. I think it's a no-brainer. Wolves will come up with an agreement with Leicester to get him back. I don't see why you wouldn't want to take him back. He might not have the legs that he had when he was first here, but we're not going out into hugely to get a Conor Coady. It's all about filling the squad and just making little tweaks here and there and having like ready-made players in those back three positions that can do a job if we need them to do a job. But we'll see where it goes. It's another huge sum. We talked about earlier on the show that Vitor needs to be backed. You don't need to spend huge amounts of money to bring in the right players, and hopefully, if there is a reconnection with George Mendes this summer, who knows what we can do. I think there'll be a really big turnaround of players that leave this summer. I think the likes of I think Tomador looks like he's on the way out. If you read some of the reports on that, I think Gonzalo Guedes will finally get his move out of Wolves since the first day that he arrived at Compton. He's been looking for a way out, so hopefully for him he'll get his move. I think Wang will probably leave this summer. Fabio is likely to leave. There's still a few other players that we haven't mentioned, isn't there? I think Sarabia. I talked about it last week. I think if we can get Semedo and Sarabia to renew on a deflated wage to what they are now, I'd be all for them staying.
I think Sarabia would be a hard one because I don't think he's getting enough minutes where you'd want to stick around, to be honest, generally.
This is like the frustration that I have when I see comments like from Martin W.
Yeah, that's why I started, Dan, because I wanted to come in on it.
This is why we've got no ambition if we get Conor Coady back. I'm not saying Conor Coady is the marquee sign that we need to be making this.
That's what Isham was saying, right? That's what Isham was saying. Is not every player that comes in is a world beater, right? I mean, Dan, like you said right at the start, that we're of similar ages. You know, we remember players like Neil Emblem because they came in for next to nothing and played in every position.
Randy Thompsons, your Neil Emblems,
every winning team is full of players that don't do, or not title winning because we're not obviously going to go for title. All the best teams have a Nicky Butt. They have a, they have a Matty Longstaff that comes in for Newcastle and does a job. They have a Joe Willen
who couldn't solidify a starting place. Went on a few loans, came back, and he was one of our best players in that League One season. Came up to the Championship with Danny Bad, did a good enough job for Wolves to finish just outside the playoffs last season. We've got to fill out this squad of ours, and I think with the amount of players that's due to leave this summer, that's why I'm saying we should go and get Conor Coady. I'm not saying if we don't get Conor Coady this summer, we fold the club.
And if he's our only signing, that's fine.
The thing is, Doyle's going to go. Doyle will go, Johnston will go, and Dawson's going to go. So that's 3 English players gone. You need to replace these English players, ain't you, at the end of the day, for the homegrown quota. So why not get Coady in just to fill one of those gaps?
Yeah.
If Connor Coady is not signed this summer, I'm sending back my season ticket. Tell Jeff Shea, we don't get Connor Coady back this summer, I'm finished with this club.
all the Cunha money on Coady. All the Cunha money on Coady.
One of the rival Wolves content creators will clip that tonight, and I'll be under the bus tomorrow morning. It's a big summer transfer window for Wolves. Like I said, the amount of players that's due to leave, we need to fill that squad back, and I think Connor Cody's a reliable acquisition if we can make it happen.
Squad player.
Yeah.
And just one more mention of our charity game. We have got a football scratch card, which was £5 ago, which is very, very close to coming to a completion. The winner of that will be announced probably sometime tomorrow. I think there was 2 or 3 teams left when I last discussed it. So the winner of that will be announced hopefully tomorrow night. And if you can help us with our fundraiser for the charity match at Molyneux on the 30th of May, with our main match sponsors USP, where we're fundraising for the Good Shepherd Wolverhampton, we really, really appreciate it. They do great work. In recent years, we've done fundraising for Mind, the mental health charity, but we decided to do something a lot close to home this year, and Good Shepherd was the number one choice that we decided on. The comment, the link, if I can find it a quick second, is right at the top of the YouTube comments, which is going to take me too long to go and find. There you go, you've top my head, thanks for that. Thanks for joining myself, Ed, Ishan and Gab on tonight's Wolves Fancast match review show in association with the Sports Social Podcast Network. We'll be back, I believe, either Wednesday or Thursday this week, because Wolves play away to Man City on Friday night. So be sure to press the like button, click the bell to notify you whenever we go live on shows, and hopefully we'll go 7 out of 7 under Vitor Pereira next Friday night. Thanks for joining us. Have a good rest of your week. And as always, up the Wolves.